Samantha sat at her vanity, applying the final touches of mascara to her lashes. Her best friend, Jenny, had been raving about this guy for weeks. "He's perfect for you, Sam. Trust me," Jenny had insisted. Sam, a 28-year-old marketing executive, had been single for nearly a year and was reluctantly open to the idea of a blind date. She glanced at herself in the mirror, her reflection showing a confident, poised woman in a little black dress. "All right, Jenny," she muttered to herself. "Let's see if you're right." The restaurant Jenny had picked was a cozy Italian place downtown, known for its candlelit ambiance and mouth-watering pasta. Sam arrived a few minutes early, choosing a table near the window and anxiously scanning the room for her date. After a few moments, a tall man with unruly hair and a slightly disheveled appearance approached her table. "Samantha?" he asked, his voice a little louder than necessary. Sam stood up and smiled. "Yes, you must be Greg." "That's me." Greg responded enthusiastically, pulling out the chair opposite her. As he sat down, his phone slipped from his pocket and clattered onto the floor. He scrambled to pick it up, knocking over the water glass in the process. Water spilled across the table, dripping onto Sam's dress. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," Greg exclaimed, grabbing a handful of napkins and attempting to dab at the spill, making things worse. Sam forced a smile, trying to keep her irritation in check. "It's fine, really?" They ordered their meals, and as they waited, Greg launched into a monologue about his job as a software developer. Sam nodded politely, but her mind started to wander. She was jolted back to reality when Greg's voice rose excitedly. "And that's how I ended up in a rabbit costume at the company's Halloween party," he finished, laughing loudly at his own story. Sam chuckled weakly, still unsure how a story about a software bug had led to this bizarre conclusion. Their appetizers arrived, and Sam hoped the food would provide a welcome distraction. As she reached for a piece of bruschetta, Greg's elbow knocked into her wine glass, sending it tipping over once more. This time, red wine splashed onto her dress, leaving a dark stain. Sam took a deep breath. "It's okay," she said, more to herself than to Greg. The main courses came, and Sam noticed Greg eyeing her plate of spaghetti carbonara with a little too much interest. "That looks amazing," he said, leaning in closer. As he did, his tie dipped into his marinara sauce. "Greg, your tie," Sam pointed out, trying to stifle her laughter. Greg looked down and let out a resigned sigh. "I'm a mess, aren't I?" "Just a bit," Sam admitted, her irritation melting into amusement. They continued to eat, and despite the chaotic start, Sam found herself enjoying Greg's earnestness. He was clumsy, but he was also kind and genuinely funny. Then dessert arrived. Sam, trying to salvage the evening, suggested they share a tiramisu. As Greg took a spoonful, he gestured animatedly, sending a dollop of cream flying across the table and landing squarely on Sam's nose. Greg's eyes widened in horror. "I'm so sorry, Sam. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight." Sam wiped the cream off her nose, shaking her head with a smile. "It's okay, Greg, really. Let's just say this has been memorable." They finished their dessert without further incident, and as they walked out of the restaurant, Greg turned to Sam. "I know tonight was a disaster, but I'd love to make it up to you. Maybe a less messy date next time?" Sam looked at Greg, who was standing there with a hopeful expression and a sauce-stained tie. She thought about the evening, the spills, the awkward stories, the unexpected laughter. It had been a disaster, yes, but it had also been oddly charming. "All right, Greg," she said, smiling. "Let's give it another shot." As they walked to their cars, Sam's phone buzzed. It was a text from Jenny. "How's it going?" Sam typed back. "It's a disaster, but he's actually kind of sweet. You might be onto something." Jenny replied with a winking emoji, and Sam couldn't help but laugh. Maybe blind dates weren't so bad after all.